lands were allocated were selected by you. It continues. Early in the term of this administration, an agreement was reached by which lands that are allocated will be done on a 50-50 basis. Half of the parcels will be allocated to the applicants in the lands division, and half will be by political recommendation. At no point since that decision was reached in 2005 has it been honored. In fact, kindly note the follows. This is Darrell Matthew writing to Minister Messiah. 1. Of the 28 parcels allocated in Makiel, 23 were allocated by you, Honourable Minister. Of the 20 parcels allocated in Fidget Creek Development, 16 were allocated by you, Honourable Minister. Of the 41 parcels allocated in Piers West Development, all 41 were allocated by you, Honourable Minister. From the above, you can attest to my cooperation with you and your policy to date. Having outlined all of the above, I suggest, Honourable Minister, that you retract your minute of September the 19th, 2008, and if there are concerns that you have to address, those concerns directly and to the officer to whom those concerns are to be raised. At no time during your tenure as Minister in charge of lands can you say that I have not been cooperative with you, even as I disagree with your approach to the issue of lands. Indeed, I am not aware that if allocations take place, your prior knowledge and approval is required. Let me repeat this. Indeed, I am not aware that if allocations are to take place, your prior knowledge and approval is required. I'm sure you can appreciate that your cabinet colleagues frequently contact me seeking assistance for constituents. On these occasions, I make it a personal point to assist whenever I can to enforce the policies, since I have a responsibility to enforce the policies of the sitting government. This courtesy is one which I have also extended to you when requested. Sincerely, Mr. Darrell Matthew, Chief Lands Officer. Madam Speaker, this was in response to a memo that the Minister sent telling Darrell Matthew that with immediate effect, no lands are to be allocated for sale or lease in any new or existing developments or lands wheresoever situated without my prior knowledge and approval. If we are to work collaboratively and as a team, then I'm sure you will agree that the proverbial left hand must know what the right hand is doing at all times. Please be guided accordingly. Ex cathedra. Yours sincerely, Honourable Senator Joanne Messiah. In other words, Madam Speaker, the 90% of the land parcels, 80 out of 89, issued according to the political agenda of Joanne Messiah is just fine. Her problem is with the 10%, 9 out of 89, allocated by public officers, civil servants, who have the proper legal authority to make such allocations. Madam Speaker, I want to remind the Minister of Lands that all the Crown lands in this country, which represents nearly 70% of the total land mass in this country, was bought by the late V.C. Bird, who had the vision and the foresight, who walked into Royal Bank of Canada in 1966, and he took out a loan in those days of £6 million so that the people of Antigua and Barbuda could own their piece of the rock. So our Crown lands do not belong to Joanne Messiah or to any politician, nor does she have the privilege to do as she pleases with the people's property. We demand fairness and equity in the allocation of Crown lands, regardless of political persuasion. Nothing more, nothing less. Madam Speaker, let me now turn to health care. Let me spend some time on the utterly disgraceful performance of the Health Minister, John McGinley, the member for St. John's Rural North, aided and abetted by the Honourable Prime Minister, who will no doubt explain to this honorable House how is it that an outrageously overpriced multi-million-dollar car park, Madam Speaker, can come before the people's state-of-the-art hospital in a government that claims to put people first. Surgical care, Madam Speaker, has deteriorated in this country, Madam Speaker, to the point where it is quite simply dangerous. You see, Madam Speaker, sorry, the vast majority of the citizens of this country do not have the financial resources to travel overseas, to go to Mayo Clinic like some of us, like the Honorable Prime Minister and others. We don't have that luxury. So when we get sick or we get into an accident, we have to go up to Halberton. Madam Speaker, I'm talking specifically about the very painful fact that under the watch of the UPP, while they vindictively refused to open the state-of-the-art Mount St. John Hospital, the number of unnecessary and negligent surgical and medical deaths and misdiagnoses has skyrocketed in this country. And we are a better country than that. We deserve better. We have $400 million more to spend. But you see, we on this side, we have the vision, we have the expertise and the access to resources that God gave birth to the Mount St. John Hospital as a first of its kind in the Eastern Caribbean 14 years ago. There's no rhyme or reason why this time of record-breaking government revenues, the government's healthcare services should be tearing so many lives apart and condemning so many so early to their graves. Now, Madam Speaker, the Honourable Member for St. John Jewel North walked out because he knew that I'm going to deal with health this morning. So he could not stay in here and bear the truth, to hear the truth. But we will not hear any truthful disclosures about any of this from the same Minister of Health who's yet to come clean with the people of this country about the multi-million-dollar administration contract that he has been operating with a company called, Madam Speaker, American Hospital Management Company. Have you ever heard of that name, Madam Speaker? American Hospital Management Company. This is the same Minister of Health, the same Minister of Health, Madam Speaker, who led a group of demonstrators to the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of that Mount St. John Medical Center up on the hill. He was adamant that he called it pie-in-the-sky dreams of Lester Bird, pie-in-the-sky dreams of Joey John that would deliver, they called it an expensive white elephant. He now, this same minister is responsible now for the huge undisclosed monthly payment from the medical benefit scheme to this mom and pop paper company. But none of his cabinet colleagues really know what is going on. The Minister of Finance doesn't know. The member for St. Philip's South doesn't know. The Honorable Deputy Prime Minister. You are the Minister of Finance. Demand answers. You want to see the contract. Not because medical benefits doesn't fall under your ministry. You have the responsibility for the totality of the finances of all the statutory authorities. And you must make sure there's money is being spent properly. And you mustn't sign no guarantees without seeing it. Don't let them treat you like no little boy. Because after the election, the hope is they want you to lose your seat to start, so that they can put Lenward Johnson as the Prime Minister, will take Minister of Finance, and put Lenward Johnson as Minister. Oh, Mansour. Senator, of course, a Senator. Oh, come on, a Senator, of course. And they're even speaking about putting Mansour as Minister of Finance. So demand the answers, my learned friend from Uwalese. Don't let them ride no roughshod over you with their skullduggery and the corruption. Where's the agreement Have your FS seen it?